What's happening? You alright? Yeah, man. Come on, chin it, so calm down.
Is Ilia gonna stick to his word and say he's gonna move up? Or is he gonna stick to his other word and say he's gonna fight me next?
My mindset now is the next fight's the best fight. The next fight's the biggest fight. The next fight's the only fight that matters.
Paddy Pimblett and Ilia shared a brief but tense altercation at UFC QATAR, instantly drawing attention and reminding fans their rivalry isn't over. Before moving deeper into the UFC QATAR discussions, Paddy Pimblett shifted toward what these results mean for the division. His focus moved to Islam's next step and how Ilia's decisions could change the landscape. Paddy kept it honest, saying nothing is clear until Islam chooses his direction. He also mentioned his own plans for the early part of next year.
2 #1 pound fighters in the world and just showing their levels. So all for me is just like, let's see what's happening now with Islam, because is Ilia gonna stick to his word and say he's gonna move up, or is he gonna stick to his other word and say he's gonna fight me next? We don't know what's happening, do we? You never know. I could end up fighting Ilia, could end up finally fighting Justin Gage. I thought it was gonna win Abu Dhabi, but no one knows what's happening, do they, until Islam decides what he's doing, because I know Ilia's saying he wants to fight him, but I'll be fighting early next year, no matter who it is. I'll have an opponent. I'll definitely be fighting early next year, so.
And coming off Paddy's comments about Islam's future and Ilia Topuria's possible decisions, it was natural to look at how Ilia views the matchup himself. His perspective adds another layer to the picture, especially after Paddy mentioned Ilia's options. Ilia spoke clearly about why he believes he can trouble Islam and why his style is different from past challengers. Here's the first half of Ilia's thoughts.
You can't analyze the wrestling that way, because you never know. You see a Russian guy wrestling with a American guy, and it can go either way, you know what I mean? But I have so many things against Islam that he's gonna have some hard time with me. And something he knows and we all know is that the only thing I need it's one punch, and you know for sure that I'm gonna connect that one punch, because I don't throw my punches like a crazy, you know. Yeah, I'm waiting for my moment, and I apply a lot of technique behind that.
Additionally, as fight week continued and moved forward and media duties continued in Qatar, attention shifted from the scheduled matchups to the unexpected interactions between the fighters on site. With tensions already building from recent comments and future matchups still uncertain, even brief encounters carried extra weight.
What's happening? You alright? Yeah, man. So calm down.
With the tension between Paddy and Ilia grabbing headlines once again, analysts started discussing potential. One of the most talked about fights is Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev. Brendan Schwab shared his thoughts on how Ilia might perform against Islam, including the challenges of moving up in weight. He highlighted Ilia's explosiveness, wrestling, and the overall skill as key factors in such a matchup.
If you have to bet on it, you're probably going to get a blockbuster fight with Ilia Topuria going up to 70 and fighting Islam. Who likes that fight for Ilia? Now, at 55, I favor Ilia. I like 55 matchup. Islam, Ilia, that's a fight. Ilia jumped up to 170. I don't know how he deals with that wrestling. I just don't know. But if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Ilia. He has the wrestling pedigree. He has the explosiveness. He has the quickness. He could do it. I would imagine he's still a slight dog in that fight, though. But I'll be rooting for Ilia. And I would assume that's what the UFC does.
After analysts like Brendan Schwab shared their takes on Ilia's potential matchups, former champions began breaking down why Ilia is so dangerous inside the octagon. Kamaru Usman highlighted what makes him a unique fighter, from his stance to his ability to extend combinations in MMA. His insight helps fans understand why Ilia is considered a serious threat against top opponents like Islam Makhachev.
This is why we love this sport, because on the surface it seems like that. But Ilia Topuria as well is special. I mean, he's got a very low center of gravity. His stance is pretty low. How he approaches, how he just kind of encroaches in your space, and there's not a ton of fighters that throw combinations the way that he does. because obviously in MMA, it's a little different. You have to throw maybe 2, maybe 3 punches, or 4 if you're special, but 2 to 3 punches, because you have to worry about someone changing levels, getting underneath you, or someone grabbing a leg, or someone doing all these things. That's why you don't extend the combos like boxers do. But Ilia is able to really extend the combination, especially when he's pushing you backwards and he kind of has you in that danger zone.
Moving on, as discussions heated up around Islam Makhachev's next opponent, some fighters and analysts shared strong opinions about who deserves a title shot. Ian Gary didn't hold back, criticizing the idea of Kamaru Usman stepping in for a potential fight. Truly deserves a shot at the champion.
Do I think the champion of the world, the pound for pound, one of the pound for pound best in the world, should fight has been someone who used to be great but isn't great anymore? No. Where is he now in the rankings? Someone mentioned the rankings are around 8 or 9. The last fight he had was against a guy who had like 7 losses in the UFC. No. Islam Makhachev is a phenomenal fighter, and he needs to fight one of the young up-and-coming contenders, not a has-been who has no knees.
After Ian Gary criticized Kamaru Usman for wanting a title fight with Islam Makhachev, Kamaru explained his perspective on champions and division dynamics. He reflected on how champions approach their reign, the challenges they face, and the careful planning behind matchups, and why Islam's rise fits naturally into the division's flow.
More of see, when you finally become champion, you want to conquer the division. You want to plant that flag, and you want to let everyone know that I am the guy here. No one is taking this thing. And so when Khabib became champion, obviously he was going through a lot of things in life with father and all these situations. But when Khabib became champion, you still had contenders you needed to deal with. You had Dustin Poirier out there still doing his thing. You had Justin Gaethje out there doing his thing. And you have all these guys and Conor and all these people there. You kind of have to clear that out first, because at that point, let's be honest, I think lightweight was the hottest division.
Kamaru clarified that when Khabib was actively defending his title, that period set a standard. Champions had to go through killer's row, no shortcuts. He explained that Islam Makhachev rising afterward was part of that natural cycle. Khabib cleared the top, and Islam stepped into the same path. It shows how Khabib's era shaped the trajectory Islam now follows, preparing him to handle the same level of pressure and expectations at the top.
You kind of needed to clear that. I mean, you look at the lightweights, you've got, what was it, Eddie Alvarez, Conor, and Dustin Poirier, and Justin Gaethje, and Khabib, and Iaquinta's kind of in that, close to that top 10 area. You have all these guys, and Tony Ferguson, let's not forget. I think it was more so I needed to clear it out, but it just so happened that the situation happened with his father, to where after I got to do that, this was the goal, was to get here, stay undefeated, and potentially walk away.
While much of the attention in Qatar has been on Ilia Topuria, Paddy Pimblett, and the rising stars of the division, Dan Hooker's upcoming fight with Arman Tsarukyan has fans talking about strategy, mindset, and preparation. Hooker recently shared his thoughts on what drives him, how he approaches tough opponents, and why he thrives under pressure in high-stakes fights.
Well, yeah, I like those fights. I like the ones that people don't think you're going to win, because then it's that opportunity to rise to the occasion is obviously, whenever I fight someone shit, I kind of like stoop to their level, or like, because I like getting in a fight so much, I'll be like better than the guy, and then I'll be like, nah, but I want to kind of
risk it a little bit.
Yeah, I kind of want to have a fight, and then so I stoop to their level.
I get it.
so we have a good fight.
After explaining why he enjoys fighting underdogs or tough opponents, Hooker reflected on how experience shapes a fighter's approach. He shared insights into the physical and mental challenges everyone faces in MMA, including self-doubt and fatigue, and that managing these moments is part of what makes Hooker confident in stepping into big fights like the one against Tsarukyan.
So that's why I like to fight guys where they're like, no way you're gonna beat this guy. No way, he's way better than you. He's gonna, because then I'll rise to their level.
Yeah.
I know the sport, bro. Like, I've been doing it so long. anyone, bro. We all get tired. We all bleed. We all like it's fake. We
all have that voice in our head.
We all doubt ourselves.
Yeah.
We're all like you're same shit. You strap those gloves on and you're standing in that fucking hallway and that voice in the back of your head's going like, "What are you doing?" Like it happens to everyone, and so it's like if I know that 100%, I know that. I can admit it because I've been battling, like, that's the fun of it. It's the battle with that voice. That's the part of it that I enjoy. I know he can say whatever he wants, but I know he's sitting there and he's going, fucking Dan Hooker, gotta fight with Dan Hooker. Oh, man.
Finally, Hooker highlighted that mental toughness is as important as physical skill in MMA. He stressed that every fighter experiences doubts before a fight, but the ability to confront them separates elite competitors from the rest. In the context of his matchup with Arman Tsarukyan, this mindset shows why Hooker thrives in high-pressure situations.
Man, I got sick this week, I got this injury. We all have doubts. We all have doubts, brother. We all have them.
I mean, and yes, this is a #1 contenders fight, yeah?
Meanwhile, fighters like Dan Hooker break down strategy and mental toughness inside the octagon, creating a natural lead-in to Belal Muhammad's perspective. As part of the undercard in Qatar and preparing for his crucial matchup against Ian Gary this weekend, Belal opened up about handling setbacks and staying focused. He explained that after any loss, relying on faith and discipline keeps him grounded. For Belal, resilience isn't optional, it's the key to approaching every fight, especially one with such high stakes.
Yeah, I mean, for me, being Muslim, being religious, it's God's plan. I trust God's plan, so even after the loss, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing that happens to you, you're always thankful to God. Like, there's worse things that could happen to me losing a fight, right? I hate losing, trust me, I hate it. And but for me, it was meant to happen. Why it was meant to happen, I'll find out, but it's not for me to be the judge, right? I just trust God's plan, and once you trust God's plan, you accept it. It makes it easier to accept it than to dwell on it and be like, oh man, what if I did this, or what if I did that, or what if I did that? When people do that type of thing, it just stresses you out, it just weighs you down. My mindset now is the next fight's the best fight. The next fight's the biggest fight. The next fight's the only fight that matters. So throughout this whole camp, throughout the training, throughout just this week, it's always like my target Saturday night. Nothing that happened.
Building on his mindset after a loss, Belal explained how faith shapes his daily life and approach to stress. He reflected on perspective, purpose, and the importance of focusing on what truly matters beyond material concerns. By sharing how prayer and belief guide him, he shows fans that mental clarity and spiritual grounding are just as important as physical preparation for success inside the octagon.
In general, we're here for one reason, right? We're all slaves to God. Whatever God wants us to do, that's what we're meant to do. So like when people say, oh, I'm stressed about work, I'm stressed about this, I'm stressed about that. None of that stuff really matters at the end of all of it, right? We could be the richest person in the world, have all the money in the world, but at the end of the day, you're still gonna be 6 feet under, you can't take none of that stuff with you. So why are we stressing about little stupid stuff? Or, like, you should be pleasing God no matter what. For me, I pray 5 times a day. And for people, a lot of times, all these new gurus and stuff like that, they're all the yoga, the being centered, the this and that. Like, I'm centered 5 times a day. I know what I'm here for. I know what my purpose is here for. This stuff is just side quest. And if I have a platform to spread that, it's meant to be. God gives me this platform, right? There's people in this world that don't have nothing. I'm blessed every day I get to wake up.
Adding on, as the UFC QATAR card heats up, Kamaru Usman and Henry Cejudo weighed in on how certain fights could reshape the lightweight and welterweight divisions. They discussed Dan Hooker's matchup with Arman Tsarukyan, title contention, and the strategic path fighters must take to earn a shot at championship opportunities in the UFC.
I'm looking at this card.
Dan the cheap Hooker.
Okay, you say that. I don't say that. You say that. So he not running up on me when he see me. That's it. Well, no.
You ever heard of Mexican judo, Kamaru?
No, I don't. What is
you don't know if I have a knife? You don't know if I have a gun? Nah, but I tell you what, Kamaru, a little bit of what you just said right now, Arman Tsarukyan could spoil the party for everybody at 155 pounds, and this is what you want. You want Arman Tsarukyan to get a finish of Dan Hooker.
Continuing their discussion, Kamaru and Henry focused on title implications and matchmaking logic. They explained why a super fight should not happen too early and how performances at 155 and 170 pounds set up future opportunities. The importance of timing, skill progression, and how fighters like Islam Makhachev and Arman Tsarukyan can influence the flow of both divisions.
Because then this is how both weight classes are going to be able to kind of, flow together. I don't think Ilia has not defended his title at 155 pounds. I don't think he should be granted a title shot at 170 pounds. I just do not believe that. I do believe that like, the way that things are going, we got Islam Makhachev versus Kamaru Usman at 155 pounds. Depending on what Arman Tsarukyan is able to do to Dan Hooker, he could be next for that damn title. And then you know what happens? Both weight classes move on, and as time moves on, or whatever it is that happens, then they can come and meet for a super fight. But you don't want a super fight that's too premature, man, because we also have to see Ilia Topuria get challenged with a little bit of that grappling. And you know who's going to do that? Arman Tsarukyan. Because that's the way to see it, man. Because, we go back and think of 170 pounds, Kamaru. Carlos Prates he's not going to be able to defend Islam's double leg or whatever it is doing his top control. Same thing with Michael Morales, because we haven't seen them.
UFC Qatar highlighted that Fight Week is as much about strategy and rivalries as it is about the fights. From Paddy Pimblett and Ilia Topuria's tense moments to Islam Makhachev's potential matchups, fans saw the stakes in both lightweight and welterweight divisions. Dan Hooker emphasized mental toughness, Bilal Muhammad leaned on faith, and champions like Kamaru Usman and Henry Cejudo showcased how preparation and strategy matter as much as skill. With intense talent, pressure, and uncertainty, every decision counts. The Qatar card proved MMA is a mix of mental strength, physical excellence, and calculated risk, keeping fans on the edge. So which fighter do you think will make the biggest impact in the next few months? Paddy Pimblett, Ilia Topuria, or Islam Makhachev? Share your predictions and reasoning in the comments below.